Hey guys, and welcome to the third part of the greenhouse transformation project. After working on the roof and the floor in the first two episodes, this time my attention is focused on the walls. I will put a coat of fine clay plaster on the walls and start doing electrical work like installing lamps and the heating system. I started by mixing the first bucket of plaster. I'm using a plaster that already has the desired color. The plaster gets its color from the addition of different types of clay, so I don't need to paint it afterwards. After the mixing, the plaster needs to rest for 30 minutes. Until it's ready, let's have a look at what I've done during the last month to prepare for the plastering work. First of all, I patched all uneven and damaged spots of the old plaster. Then I scratched grooves into the old plaster so that the new plaster would stick better. After that, I made a small test patch to see if the new one holds well to the old one. Here you can already see what the walls will look like. In preparation for building the kitchen, I put some new pipes through the wall where water will enter and leave the building. But now let's start with the plastering. I mixed again and put the first bits of plaster onto the wall. I apply the plaster in two layers. The first one is a very rough and thin layer. Once this layer has dried a little bit but is still wet, I will put a second one over it. This way I get the best result. If you're wondering why I'm leaving some white strips uncovered, those are wooden boards and the plaster won't stick on them. These boards are there so that I can mount things on them, as this isn't easily done in the clay walls. The boards will be covered later in the video. After the first layer was on, I continued with the second one. The second layer is much easier and quicker to do, but I'll spare you watching me plaster the walls again. So let's fast forward a few hours to the next step. Once the second layer has dried enough so that it does not leave traces on your fingers when you touch it, it is ready to smooth over it with a rubbing board. I try to use as little water in the rubbing board as I can. A few days later, I continued with the walls by preparing the first wooden boards. These will cover the gaps between the door frame and the plaster and the remaining white stripes on the walls. The plaster was not fully dry yet and still had a dark color. Here I put a much bigger panel onto the wall, as this one will be part of the kitchen and act as a splashback. Then I put the last boards on. You can see the plaster drying up in this shot. After that, I continued with some small woodworking tasks, like covering the seams on the roof and strengthening one structural weak point of the building. Once that was done, I gave all the posts and beams a new coat of linseed oil. Then winter arrived. This was the perfect time to install the heating system and put up new lamps. I started with removing the old lamps, which was something I was looking forward to for a long time. Then I connected the infrared heating panels. I chose this heating system because it provides heat very quickly and is easy to control, which is exactly what we need in this building. And after that, as the last step for this video, I put up the lamps. This step also marks the end to the structural changes on the building, which means that I can start building the furniture. The first thing I'm going to build will be the kitchen and the drinking water system, but more on that in the coming videos. Until then, thanks for watching. And if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd very much appreciate it.